Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only Tiana here once again, and I am from the likes of the Mexi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. Basically, a remake of Kirby's Return to Dreamland back on the Nintendo Wii. So, last time we've actually completed everything in terms of Cookie Country, and today for this video is about the fact that we're moving on to the second world in the game, known as Raisin Ruins. I think that's what it says anyway. So, either way though, let's get this thing to it, and I think if I recall correctly, this is the world that we start able to introduce into ourselves one of the first two brand new Kirby abilities that we will come across into. So either way, I will explain about the forms of the movesets in the future, because for now, let's get to it with Stage 1 in Raisin Ruins. So either way, basically a traditional desert themed level as far as you probably already know from the start. So relatively speaking, everything else will be pretty much accounted for. So either way, yeah, not much else to say about this for the most part, apart from the fact that, well, relatively speaking, today's day is, of course, the 5th of April today, in this case in 2023 today, and I'll get into more details about that in a moment, because here we have Sand Kirby, a new Kirby ability that is exclusive to this particular remake as of now. So as you can tell about the fact that what you can do with the Sand Kirby is that you can able to actually do all kinds of things here and there. Like for instance, you can able to actually stretch out certain stuff. Like for instance, I can't get that one up normally until I use that particular sand arm. So that way, it's basically like the equivalent to able to actually utilize the whip Kirby ability, and on top of that, you can able to actually perform a bit of a fist punch during the forms of, down B attack and stuff like that. And of course, I think if I recall correctly about the fact that you can also able to actually build up some tons of sand here and there. And I think that's as far as I can think about this for the sake of the forms of the Sand Kirby as a result. But relatively speaking, about the fact that, yeah, that's as far as I can say about this. So, anyway, so as I mentioned this before, today's day is of course the 5th of April today, in this case in 2023 today. So you know what that means, folks? Today's the day where the Super Mario Bros. Movie has recently came out today during the forms of the 5th of April. And yeah, it seems pretty cool, all things considered, especially concerning about the fact that I've been waiting for this for quite some time at this rate. And on top of all that stuff though, while the reviews hasn't exactly got up yet, but hopefully I'll try to mention more about it until whenever we get to the forms of, let's just say, this coming Friday, being the forms of 7th of April, basically. So either way, as far as I'm aware, that we did manage to able to see it with, not only with Blue, but also with Jewel, alongside with, Diago, Bea, and, Carla, and on top of that with Mighty and Ray, and even Sonic the Hedgehog as a result, despite the fact that his third movie should be up until next year in 2024, around the same time as Avatar 3 is going to be releasing. And on top of that, of course, Mario himself did somehow manage to get invited over, and alongside with Pac-Man and Mega Man. And yeah, everything else will be pretty much accounted for. And as far as we've seen the film, we actually had a great time getting to the actual film itself. Of course, just like the forms of how it does it in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, back in the forms of it last year, we're not going to mention any spoilers for the time being, because obviously it's a new released film, so we don't feel like we can able to actually mention any spoilers for the time being. So yeah, we'll let anyone else able to see it for themselves. So either way, would I personally recommend it? Absolutely, especially concerning about the fact that I must say, it is certainly a lot better than the forms of how it does on this very terrible live-action adaptation back in 1993, because let's face it, the 1993 film based off of the Super Mario Bros. Video game, in terms of the film itself, it certainly bombed, and because of that though, the reviews didn't go so well. And from what I've heard about it anyway, that certain people do actually get a lot of casualties during the forms of filming the set, which as a result, I felt so sorry for certain actors they managed able to stumble across into it. So, at least if I recall correctly though, so either way, So, yeah, that's what I can really think about this for the most part, and I'm really looking forward to able to actually pre-order the film, not only for DVD, but also on Blu-ray as well, just like the films about it does it on not only My Little Pony the movie 2017, but also with the films of not only Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, but also with Sonic the Hedgehog 2 as well. So because of that though, I can't help it for myself about the fact that if I was gonna able to actually just become like a huge Mario and Sonic fanatic, so such as about the fact that we still are, even to this day. So either way though, let's go ahead and take down Bonkers. So because of that though, because something tells me one of those energy spheres is going to be required to utilize the hammer copy ability, because otherwise, without it, then obviously that we can't able to actually get it until whenever we do manage to come across into one. If you manage to able to actually get yourself some more copy abilities for the sake of the copy ability room, join new forms of the Lord Star Cutter. So yeah, that's basically how this goes, basically. So, again, I apologize for that particular commentary. It gets a bit tad awkward at times, people. Because, let's face it, though, I had a really great time with the film so far. Now that we've actually seen the Super Mario Bros. Movie, as I said this before, I believe the next film I was hoping I will see eventually will have to be buddy films of, excuse me, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and also Fast and Furious 10, or Fast X to be more specific. And same applies with the forms of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, because everyone else gets a lot of hype about the film as well. Especially concerning about the fact that I believe we've only just got roughly about 2 months left until that film comes out. Well, mind you, I'm still skipping over the Little Mermaid live-action adaptation, just because, my god, they ruined not only Sebastian's design, but also they ruined, you know, Flounder's design as well. So because of that, though, I'm not exactly sure if Max the dog decides to able to show up, although let me know down in the comments down below, because otherwise, it's been a very long while since I actually have last seen the actual official trailer, and immediately, though, I was disappointed by it, because obviously I still prefer the originals over a bit more, I must be honest. So, but that's my cup of tea anyway, though, especially concerning about the fact that, well, usually it just ruins my nostalgia, and on top of all that stuff, though, well, I must be quite frank for this point, I've never actually got myself the Little Mermaid 1989 film on the VHS to begin with, because obviously about the fact that I wasn't really into it at first, but then the more when people keeps on telling everyone saying you gotta recommend it, especially because that was the beginning of the Disney Renaissance era. So as a result of that kind of stuff though, which as a result it wasn't until like, I think it was in sometime in 2016 that I've managed able to experience the film, you know, the 1989 film of The Little Mermaid, and I will admit though, I really enjoyed that particular stuff, especially concerning about the fact that that was before when The Rescuers Down Under exist, and especially noticeable with Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, alongside with The Lion King. Basically though, that the entire visual presentation goes up to a massive step forward when it comes to likely for its presentation, especially how I'm pretty sure Pixar got involved with certain shots for certain scenes for certain films. Like, I know for one thing that, I don't know if it's true or not, but for what I've seen the credit sequence in Journey films of The Rescuers Down Under, despite box office bombs anyway. So as a result of that kind of stuff though, is that I was so shocked to see Pixar words, which that was before when Toy Story exists. So either way, yeah, chances are though, yeah, that's as far as I can usually think about it. So, and I'm not exactly sure what the box office is going to be like in Journey films within the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but I'm sure later down the road, Journey films within the majority of 2023, that hopefully we'll able to actually see more information on that during at some point in the next couple of months or couple of weeks or so. So either way, speaking of something related to Mario though, although I'll explain more details about that once we get to the third stage in Raisin Ruins, about the fact of the matter is though, is that it feels like so far in 2023 actually gets a promising start during the films of 2023 so far, when it comes to not only film releases, but also gaming releases as well. Like we already know from the start though, is about the fact that we've already got Kirby's Return to Dreamland's Deluxe, which is the game I'm currently playing on right now, alongside with Metroid Prime Remastered, which is basically a remastered version of the original game, but on the Nintendo Switch, so thankfully you can play the game on the go, just like the forms of how it does it in not only for Metroid Prime Hunters for the Nintendo DS, but also with this infamous Federation Force, because obviously the Metroid Prime Federation Force has been received very lowly for not only for its review scores, but also with, I believe, sales numbers as well, because obviously that was the most disappointing games that's been announced during the Forms Event 2015 regardless. So either way though, chances are though I still managed able to have that game for curiosity's sake, especially because I'm now more into the Metroid series, as you probably already noticed by this point. So, oh yeah, this is where we get ourselves with the forms of the next super ability, which I think something tells me we will come across into Flare Beam. So either way though, that might be saying something. So anywho though, so yeah, speaking of something related to Mario and stuff like that, well, obviously about the fact that today, when it comes to Mario Kart Tour, despite the fact that I'm still going to be quite anxious able to actually get back into that game again, despite the fact that I keep on getting screwed up by not only the stupid bad item system still, and even especially noticeable with badge controls in general, but I will admit though right away, the next tour is pretty promising, especially concerning about the fact that obviously we only got about roughly about 4 days left until Easter time. So relatively speaking though, about the fact that Easter Sunday is going to be specifically on, I would say the 9th of April, if I recall correctly. Mind you, because I'm pretty much used to with the forms of how the fact that, well, I don't know about you, because it's been a very long while since I actually mentioned something related to Easter season. So either way, let's get into the portal as we go, and yeah, let's just go ahead and deal with this particular dimensional section right here that involves around a lot of swimming because of, you know, a lot of water cubes everywhere. So yeah, you probably get the idea about that. So anyway, so the next tour we got ourselves into Mario Kart Tour, and that's what appears to be Yoshi Tour. Not to be confused as the exactly the same tour name. I think that was back in during the Forms Event, I would say in 2022, which was last year. That I believe in last year we actually got ourselves not only the gold variation of Yoshi with the egg on it, but also with the forms of, I would say Yoshi Valley from the likes of in Mario Kart 64 that the track there is based on. Well, in this year this time, not only do we able to get ourselves with this pretty much expected track to be impaired, but out of nowhere we actually got ourselves another returning track based off from Mario Kart Super Circuit, which as a result, I don't feel negative about this though, especially concerning about the fact that although I do have my major gripes I have with it though until later on throughout for this particular discussion. So either way, yeah, let's just go ahead and use the Paracel because obviously Paracel will be a lot more useful, especially concerning about the fact that with this damage range, it's actually pretty cool. And on top of that, oh yeah, one thing I totally forgot to mention about during the course of in the last video on this is that you can now able to actually perform a lot of quick dodges here and there. Like, you can still able to actually do some bit of shielding every once in a while, but I think relatively speaking though, you can now able to actually do some quick dodges and stuff like that, which is actually pretty handy in Fury, especially because that was obviously based off from not only from the likes of, I would classify the same since Kirby Triple Deluxe or something, but it's also with Planet Robobots and Star Allies as well, I guess. Mind you, it's been a very long while since I actually have last played those games on the 3DS, because despite the fact that, you know, you can no longer get those digital games anymore, because, you know, the eShop is closed forever. So, unless if someone managed able to actually just realize that we can now able to simply have one option, and that is, of course, hacking the systems. Because obviously, with hacking though, you can now able to actually access those games with no problem by doing hacking and stuff. So, I know it seems kind of feels a bit illegal to do it, but regardless of such though, I've never actually tried for myself, especially concerning about the fact that if I was planning to able to get a 3DS capture device in the future, well, probably not, I must be honest, but that's only mainly because, you know, the pricing is like skyrocketing, and because of that though, I don't seem to able to can't be bothered to get myself the 3DS capture device, I must be honest. But in the end though, that's relatively speaking though, that's as far as I can usually just try to able to decide my plans for certain Let's Plays in mind. So, either way, that's all I can really say about this for the most part. So, anyways, back into the forms of that conversation about the forms of Mario Kart Tour, Yoshi Tour, in the likes of the forms of 2023 edition. So yeah, in addition about the fact that those 2 tracks will do make an appearance, but out of nowhere, also, we actually got ourselves not 1, but 3 new drivers. Well, technically 1, which appears to be by the forms of one of those Mii racing suits, and also, we actually got ourselves 2 brand new drivers. Well, one is entirely brand new, and the other one is cosmetic. So because of this though, for instance, we actually got ourselves Poochie from the likes of in Yoshi's Island, which is pretty cool, I must admit. Especially concerning about the fact that, well, unfortunately though, I still need to grind for some more rubies in order to actually get Poochie. I will concern for this point, but hopefully once I do get enough rubies for it, then I can instantly manage to buy you know, Poochie, because otherwise though, I'm not exactly sure what the item description is for, but I'll talk more details about that, and during specifically this Friday. So either way, because I somehow managed to barely got started with Yoshi Tour, and yeah, on top of all that stuff though, speaking of Yoshi, there's gonna be another color cosmetic character for Yoshi, and this time it's gonna be light blue color. And unfortunately though, something tells me it's going to be once again locked out behind the stupid tier system, which I'm getting so sick of the forms of the stupid tier system at this rate, especially because, well, I was able to do some tons of refreshing in terms of utilizing quick tickets when you know, whenever I was able to search upon daily selection. But then it turns out about the fact that, well, I just have any other luck when it comes to likely come across into not only orange variation of not only for Yoshi, but also with Bodo as well. Because I was going to save up some coins to actually buy those characters, but apparently though, my luck is pretty stupid on me when it comes to Mario Kart Tour itself, because, you know, I've mentioned this before, but I will say this again, that Mario Kart Tour is definitely my least favorite games in terms of the Mario Kart series now, because I will say that I will defend Super Mario Kart right now, but that's only mainly because about the fact that it's actually the introduction of the greatest series to come. So either way, and in terms of the Mii racing suits that is actually introduced in Yoshi Tour, that's what appears to be by the forms of the Piranha Plant Mii racing suit. Because after all, we've already got ourselves the PD Piranha racing suit, and now we've actually got ourselves the Piranha Plant Mii racing suit. So, pretty cool though. So, in terms of cards though, I think they do have 3 cosmetic cards, such as for instance, they've got ourselves an Easter-themed birthday girl card, and also with the forms of the light blue color variation of Turbo Yoshi, and finally, a variant of the Egg 1 that represents or resembles a Huffin' Puffin, I think is what it says anyway. And in terms of gliders though, one thing that's actually pretty cool though in terms of gliders though is that they actually got ourselves abundance of references from other Yoshi games. Like for instance, there was actually an Easter themed glitter glider. Well, nothing related to Yoshi or anything, but in terms of everything else though, the glider was actually based off from Yoshi's Cookie if I recall, which is actually pretty interesting. And on top of that, there's a glider based on the smiley flowers from Yoshi's Island. So, yeah, pretty swell. And in terms of courses though, obviously they bring back Yoshi Valley ever since and during the course of it a couple of months ago. And in addition with the forms of Yoshi Valley does make a return, but also with the forms of how the fact that not only do we get Yoshi's Island ever since in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, based off from the Fruit Cup, but in addition to that, we got ourselves the returning track based off from Mario Kart Super Circuit like I mentioned earlier, and it turns out it's gonna be Yoshi Desert, so 3 Yoshi-themed tracks, I see. But either way, for what I've played them, in terms of Yoshi's Island though, it is great able to go back to that course again, despite the fact that we're now on to 8 players instead of the usual 12 players. So because of that though, yeah, it's gonna be one of those scenarios about the fact that maybe I should probably go back to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe again, because not only because the visuals look a bit plasticky looking, But also, I'm not a big fan of the forms of the rendition of Mario Kart Tour music for the sake of the forms of Yoshi's Island track, because it just feels a bit not as, like, orchestrated and stuff like that to me, though. Because for me, personally, though, that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe variation of Yoshi's Island is hands down one of the greatest DLC tracks I've ever played so far. So as a result of that kind of stuff, though, I might be biased when it comes to prefer different soundtracks between these two games back to back. And on top of all that stuff, though, in terms of, like, you know, it's nice to see Yoshi Desert make its return after the events of Mario Kart Super Circuit, but there's one tiny disappointing aspect what I do found out in Yoshi Desert, though, is that, much like, let's just say, Dry Ruins, unfortunately, though, Yoshi Spanx is nowhere to be found yet again. Oh, jeez. What is the problem with all the lack of detail around here? Like, I know for a fact that because of the limitations of mobile phone devices, but still, I really do miss those old days, especially concerning about the fact that they had a lot of visual detail around them. But maybe it's just me, but I'm pretty sure I'm getting sick of the forms of the visual style from Mario Kart Tour at this rate. So, yeah, I might be biased when it comes to likely for some things like that, so... Oh yeah, and speaking of the forms of the Piranha Plant, me racing suit. Oh, and by the way, every once in a while for certain rooms, as you can see, that we actually stumbled across a candle, which that allows you to able to see what's in the dark. So, pretty handy though, unless if you do manage to have yourselves the fire copy ability, then you can do that as well. So, either way, but the reason why we hold the candle in the first place is because of that energy sphere right there. So, anywho though, so yeah, in terms of the Piranha Plant me racing suits, they obviously did mention about the special item you can get if you managed able to buy the Piranha Plant me racing suit, despite the fact that I'm not gonna able to buy that personally, because I somehow accidentally managed able to obtain the likes of the forms of, I want to say the yellow me racing suit, but that's only mainly because the giant banana peel is hands down one of the greatest items ever, especially when frenzy system comes into play, especially that way I can get myself some tons of points with it. So either way though, that's probably just me anyway. So either way though, nothing bad or anything, it's just that I'm more accustomed to the forms of not only for its triple bananas items, but it's also about the fact that with the giant banana peel is one of the greatest items ever. Especially I'm glad, you know, that item does make a return after the events of Mario Kart Double Dash. So, anywho though, so yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I can say about this for the most part, even though despite there are some questionable things here and there. But as far as I'm aware though, that I was so glad able to see Poochie on the cart. So, yeah, it seems pretty adorable at the same time, especially concerning about the fact that, well, I don't know if he might as well make it to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe though, because despite the fact that the description did say the returning characters from past games, I don't know if they might as well include the tour-based characters or something like that, but we shall see what happens until when Wave 5 exists, so possibly sometime in summer. Oh, unfortunately though, we come across into the most unfortunate news ever in terms of not only for its gaming community, but also about the fact that if you're about to be able to expect that you're able to see some exciting announcements in the future, sadly, E3 is once again being cancelled, and the reason being for this is because, well, I'll explain more details about that in a moment, because that was the third time the E3 has been cancelled. So, first we have E3 2020 because of coronavirus pandemic, and the second time being the forms of 2022, also because of the pandemic, and third and finally, well, as of right now anyway, but this time it's completely different, especially it's nothing to do with the COVID related thing, but more accurately, not the lack of interest. Why? I just have no idea why. They just seem able to don't have that much interest in these specific stuff anymore. Although, especially noticeable about the fact that it's bad enough that certain stuff has been kicked out for the likes of not only for, you know, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo to somehow manage able to, you know, not into the forms of this year's E3. And at the same time though, that obviously Ubisoft is now moving on to its digital event, well, to be more specifically something related to Ubisoft for it, which I'm okay with, but it's just that everything else, I really do miss those days, especially concerning about the fact that, well, jeez, it's been like, I don't know, 4 years or so since during the last E3, in-person event. But either way though, this is getting ridiculous to me, especially concerning about the fact that it did mention that during the informs of the 30th of March, and because of that though, yeah, sadly E3 2023 has been cancelled due to the informs of the lack of interest. So, yeah, it seems kinda sucks. But, I don't know about you, because, well, relatively speaking though, that the last time we technically did have, related to E3, that's of course the online event for the E3 2021. That was actually pretty alright. Well, despite with the forms the change of, that particular formula. So, yeah, that might be saying something. So, anywho, so the next thing I want to mention is about the fact that Minecraft reveals a special collaboration when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. So, kind of interesting though, although we're not exactly sure what the release date is going to be, for the sake of the forms of that particular things itself in mind. But despite the fact that I've never actually played Minecraft before, but I definitely heard about the game, especially because, you know, Steve now finally made an appearance on, you know, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, censoring during the lockdown and stuff like that. But either way, that's what I can say about it. Oh, and another thing, unfortunate thing I just recently came up with. In terms of likely stuff related to Sony PlayStation, sadly though, PlayStation VR 2 reportedly off and to an underwhelming start. In terms of the forms of, well, it did say about the fact that Sony's PlayStation VR 2 has reportedly only sold, let's just say 270,000, units sold by the end of March 2023, with experts saying the price cut could be coming. So either way, we're not exactly sure when exactly, but either way though, but for what I've seen that in action, it looks pretty interesting. It's certainly a lot more advanced than the original VR. So either way. Oh yeah, and I suppose there was actually a good news is about to be happening at some point in this month, or to be more specifically, between this month, alongside with next month as well. Obviously, we've only just got about a couple of weeks left now until The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to be releasing on the Switch. But in addition to that, there's also going to be a special themed The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Switch OLED system is going to be approaching at some point during the forms of, let's say, in 23 days' time. And I think that particular system is going to be releasing until the 28th of April in this year. So as a result, roughly the same time as in the Nintendo Switch Sports 1-year anniversary of that game's release. Despite the fact that everyone else seems able to get a lot of disappointment for that particular game itself or something. Well, mind you, it's been a very long while since I actually have last seen gameplay footage of Nintendo Switch Sports, I must be honest here. That's only mainly because I just somehow moved on to the forms of other familiar franchises I was into at this point, so... And despite the fact that I haven't exactly got the game either, but that's only mainly because, well... You know, I'm just into, like, you know, platforming, party games, and all that stuff in my spare own time, but that's just me. So here we go with the forms of Mr. Duta right here. So as a result, there, I somehow managed able to utilize my whip copy ability, so that way I can able to kick his butt no problem. And on top of all that stuff, though, that's what I can think about it. Now, I suppose the last thing I want to mention, though, is that, well, obviously the game itself is still going to be releasing at some point in the 12th of May, you know, with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. There's also going to be a special themed carrier case, and on top of that, the Switch Pro Controller themed thing is also going to be on its way as well, around the same day as in, well, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is releasing. So yeah, pretty top-notch, all things considered, alongside with the actual Link amiibo itself as well. So yeah, this is going to be excitement, especially concerning about the fact that we've been waiting for this for 6 years since the original Breath of the Wild came out. So yeah, I can appreciate about the fact that they actually contains jam-packed full of content here and there. But yeah, that's as far as I can usually say about this for the most part. So I was really hoping I can able to finish him off with the whip, but because that particular fist punch just somehow screwed me up right there. But regardless of such though, we did somehow kick his butt, no problem. So either way, there's our wing part right here. I'm not exactly sure if it's either left or right, because I couldn't tell about the fact that I think it's more accurately right, if I recall, not so much left or something. But either way, it's been a very long while since I actually played this game, so either way. So, yeah, I guess that's what I can say about this for the most part right here, especially concerning about the fact that, yeah, I think it's the one on the right, because, well, I could assure you something tells me with that particular insert part, that, obviously, it actually shows us where the part's gonna go. So, either way, yeah, it's gonna be on that side. So, yeah, that's the one on the right. So, and the one on the left, though, we'll come across into that and train at some point in the next world in this coming Friday. So, either way. Because I'm pretty sure that most of those worlds, well, 2 worlds to be exact, are actually pretty short. But then, as soon as we get into the vaults of World 3 and onwards, though, it might actually felt a bit lengthy. So yeah, I was right. It was the right wing. So, either way, yeah, that's all I can say about this, guys. Especially concerning about the fact that, well, let me know in the comments down below for the question of the day. What was your thoughts about the films of the Super Mario Bros. Movie? Did you enjoy it? Or did you think it's okay? Or do you not like it as much as the films of the Sonic movies? But for me personally, though, I actually had a blast for it. Especially because, you know, been waiting for that film for so long. Especially, again, no spoilers mentioning for this point, guys, because I know this is a new film. So, yeah, I'll just keep my lips sealed for the time being. Especially that, you know, I'm still hoping to get myself the pre-order thing for the likes of the DVD and the Blu-ray version of that film. So, but either way, though, I'm biased when it comes to that. So, anyways, though, so we should probably go ahead and say this right now. We should probably end things off here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. And that is about the fact that we'll move on to the 3rd world in the game, known as Onion Ocean. So, yeah, we go into a tropical beach setting. So, either way, I'll see you guys and join in this Friday. Later, fellas.